In the New Testament, the word oikos is used to describe a physical dwelling, a house. But in the context of relationships and evangelism, the New Testament writers used it to refer to an intimate group of friends and family, the people who you live with in your house. And your oikos is not just made up of your immediate family, not in our culture, but of the 8 to 15 people who right now are living, as I often say, on the front burner of your life. The people you're doing life with, the ones who know what really matters to you. And it's not because they hear you talk about your passions, it's because they watch you as you live out those passions. Lots of people hear what you say, but only your oikos knows if you own what you say. Sharing Christ with anyone, anytime is every believer's responsibility, regardless of who is or is not inside an oikos. But remember, without at least 2 people's permission, no meaningful conversation ever takes place. If you raised teenagers or lived with a 2-year-old, you already know this. Cold evangelism, that is, sharing Christ with someone you haven't previously known, can provide very powerful encounters. But successful experiences are rare because it's unnatural for people to grant that kind of permission on the spot. Which is why, after healing the demon-possessed man, Jesus told him to go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how He's had mercy on you. The Greek word translated your own people is oikos. After Zacchaeus gave his heart to Christ, Jesus said, "Today salvation has come to this house." The word house translated from the Greek oikos, and it's an obvious reference to the people Zacchaeus knew, since the actual building couldn't be saved. Had we been in Jericho that day, we probably would have shared our surprise at Zacchaeus' response by saying something like, "Isn't it amazing that this very wayward soul found new life in Jesus?" But Jesus never said that, because He wasn't just interested in saving a lost person here and another one there. Jesus couldn't simply use addition in formulating His how, because that approach would take much too long to change the world. He needed to use multiplication. So while the angels in heaven may have been rejoicing about Zacchaeus, Jesus already had His sights set on Zacchaeus' 8 to 15 more people. When Jesus healed the son of a royal official, it says that he and his whole household, oikos is the word, his whole household believed. When Jesus called Levi, that is Matthew, to be his disciple, it says, while Jesus was having dinner at Levi's house with his oikos, many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples. For there were many who followed him, it says there in Mark chapter 2. Notice that Matthew's immediate family wasn't on the guest list for dinner that night, because a tax collector's family would actually disown him for committing treason against the Jewish people by working for Caesar. The only people who wanted to hang around a tax collector were other tax collectors and sinners, just like the passage says. When Cornelius showed interest in becoming a Christian, the angel told him that Peter would be paying him a visit. He said, and I quote, "He'll bring you a message through which you and all of your household, your oikos, will be saved." The tactics that Jesus taught were simple: get saved and go home. And that continued well beyond the biblical record and over the past 2,000 years of church history. Even today, the oikos principle is still alive and well in every ministry, including yours. It's the reason that 95% of the people who are already there, and will be the reason that 95% of the people who will be coming in the future will be coming in the future. A leader's job is not to introduce the principle to our churches, but to accelerate it through clarity and intentionality. One of the first things that people want to know about HDC is the size of the church. And so a typical conversation goes something like this. "Pastor Tom, how big is HDC?" "Well, we have a little over 150,000 people." With an incredulous look, "My goodness, you have 150,000 people in your church?" "Yes," I tell them, "but 138,000 of them don't attend yet." But those 138,000 are why the 12,000 get up every morning. Your mission may never be characterized as mega, but it's already 8 to 15 times larger than you thought it was.